Most of the villagers are moving away on their wooden skates with thin steel blades toward the horizon, into a future that is little more than a sketch. Slightly to the right of centre stands an important-looking group in elegant, gold-embroidered garb. Ladies with hooped skirts and tall wigs, gentlemen with precious ostrich feathers adorning their hats. A grey beggar attempts to stir their pity, but they show no interest. What are they doing on the ice in some god-forsaken village, without a coach, without servants? How did they get here? And what exactly are all these people doing? They're not celebrating any special event or feast day, not Christmas, and not Carnival. It is not even Sunday. The church looming in the background is eerily dark. The longer one examines this panorama, the less plausible it becomes. The initial impression of realism grows into an understanding of allegory. A whole society is on the same ice here, rich and poor, men and women, children and the elderly, masters and servants, all equalized by frost and cold, but seemingly untouched by it. Only the animal cadaver in the left corner hints that death will leave its mark on this idyll. The bird trap made from an old door is ready to snap shut and crush its next victim, reminding the viewer that earthly pleasures are transient. Carpe diem, seize the day. An empty beehive stirs latent memories of lazy summer afternoons with blazing, colourful blossoms. Soaring above this busy miniature world, exactly in the middle of the sky, a large bird seems to fly higher and higher. Is it an ordinary bird, or the last memory of the presence of the Holy Ghost? The creator of this landscape, Hendrik Averkamp, 1589 to 1634, specialized in winter scenes. He painted them year-round in his workshops in Amsterdam, and later in Kampen in the Netherlands. Depicting bustling crowds socializing while apparently not feeling the cold may have been an expression of his own longing to be part of a greater world. He was born deaf and mute, lived quietly with his mother, and followed her into the grave within a few months of her death. The happy scenes he painted were always the lives of others. Like all painters of his time, Averkamp created his compositions not from direct observation, but from sketches and memory. Artists worked in their studios with paints that were freshly prepared, and it would have been a major technical challenge to transfer an entire studio outside. According to the ideas of the time, it would have seemed meaningless simply to paint what happened to be there. Not nature itself, but its symbolic meaning was of greater interest to artists and their patrons. A landscape was a skillful composition of disparate elements, not merely the documentation of reality. Averkamp's sketches were assembled into a whole, an image of the social world in a deceptively natural setting. Another reason why his landscapes consist of many individual scenes. Averkamp and his colleagues composed and constructed communities on the ice, creating an underlying sense that we must all share the same resources. We are all exposed to the same circumstances. A message characteristic of the Netherlands, where collective and cooperative work had been long established among farmers for maintaining dikes, draining marshes, and managing fishing. The aristocracy had never been strong here, and the convictions that everyone shared the same stretch of land and that people swim or sink together had deep roots in cultural practices and attitudes. The people on the ice were assembled there by Averkamp's imagination. The evocation of the season, however, was entirely realistic. Winter landscapes had only recently become a fashionable subject for artists, who sold their paintings mainly to wealthy urbanites. Averkamp created his little masterwork in 1608, a year that had suffered particularly severe frosts. Half a century earlier, winter landscapes had been almost unknown in European painting. Since then, however, winters had been unusually long and grim. Snow fell more abundantly than before. Rivers and seaports remained frozen until the spring. Word had it that in Eastern Europe, birds dropped out of the sky, frozen to death. The winter of 1607...